Found out my roommate had been charging her friends rent to stay in my apartment while I was visiting family for 3 weeks. I've always been the type of person who goes out of my way to help others, maybe too much. This story is about the moment that changed. My roommate Chloe and I had been living together for about 8 months in a cute 2-bedroom apartment downtown. We split everything 50-50, and I thought we had a great relationship. She was fun, social, and always had interesting stories about her large friend group. Chloe had mentioned that she struggled financially, sometimes her job at a boutique didn't pay much, and she had student loans. When she was short on rent a couple times, I covered her portion without making a big deal about it. Last summer, I planned a 3-week trip to visit my family across the country. It was the longest I'd been away from the apartment since we'd moved in together. Chloe seemed excited to have the place to herself, and I thought nothing of it. While I was gone, I occasionally checked our building's security app out of habit. I noticed there was a lot more activity at our apartment than usual. Periodical people coming and going at all hours. When I texted Curly about it, she said she'd been having friends over more often since she had extra space. I returned home on a Sunday evening, exhausted from traveling. As I walked up to our apartment, I could hear multiple voices inside. I figured Chloe was having a small welcome back gathering, which was sweet of her. I opened the door to find 5 people I'd never seen before lounging in our living room like they owned the place. One girl was cooking in our kitchen, another was doing laundry, and someone was asleep on our couch with their belongings scattered everywhere. When I asked Julie who everyone was, she casually introduced them as friends who were something felt off about how comfortable they all seemed and how they had so much stuff with them. That's when one of the girls, Emma, made an offhand comment that or stay Julie, the $200 each for the extra week is totally worth it for such a great location staying in my apartment. I pulled Chloe aside and asked her to explain. That's when the truth came out. Chloe had been renting out our apartment as short-term housing for her friends while I was gone. She'd charged 5 different people $150 per week each. She'd made over $2,000 in 3 weeks by essentially subletting my home without my permission. When I confronted her about this being completely unacceptable, Julie's response was, "What, you'd be happy I found a way to help with expenses. Plus, your room was locked, so it's not like that because she'd locked my bedroom door it was okay to turn our shared living space into an unauthorized IFA. She'd been telling these people they could stay as long as they wanted, and some had already paid for additional weeks. I came home to find strangers who thought they had legitimate housing arrangements in my apartment. I gave everyone 24 hours to leave and told Chloe she needed to refund their money and find a new place to live. She tried to argue that I was being unreasonable and that she was just being discovered she'd been using my Allhers account, my caning products, and even guests. She'd essentially been selling access to my entire lifestyle. Chloe moved out 2 weeks later, but not before trying to convince me that I should continue the arrangement and split the profits with her. That experience taught me that some people will take advantage of kindness in ways you never imagined possible. Now I am much more careful about who I help and how, because apparently some people see generosity as a business opportunity. I still help others, but I've learned to set much clearer boundaries, and I definitely changed all my passwords and got new locks after Chloe moved out. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who will surprise you the most, Perrin, and not always in a good way.